so much. That was like the nicest ever introduction in my life. And I was thinking, how does she know all this? And then I realized, you're the one person who's read my whole website. How did she know that? I felt like I was on the actor studio. You know how James Lipton's sister with all those cards? I just want to make this a little bit closer to me. Following the model of alacrity, taking over. Make me taller. Thank you. Hello. Good. I was telling you how much I like a microphone. So I can't see you, but you can see me, right? I mean, I can see you. I know you're here, but I can't really see you, so. Hi.
Hi.
I'm really happy to be here. Also, I feel a warmth for being in Ottawa because my first book was published by Carleton University Press, and then they went bust. Not right after they had.
No kidding. No
after they sold it. They sold it too. Okay, I'll start. Water. One day I found a different life than I had before. Whose life is this? I had the dust between my finger and thumb. I heard water rushing in the landlocked city. I'd been hearing it for days, thinking it was rain or a skateboard shushing over pavement, rolling on the land. Whose life is this? It could have been the roar of distant traffic. It was none of these. Neither rain, nor skateboard, nor cars. It was water coming from far away, a fast river. I listened as it got closer. It scared me. I could not pretend I didn't hear it, bringing in its mouth, on its back, in its wake, something new. Something like terror when water rushes into places it doesn't belong. Unchanneled, uncharted. I could hear it under the high sounds of the morning birds, the way you get warning of water coming into the desert and you get up and run because the valley turns to flood instantly. But now there's no running. A man's voice said the word Shane. It sounded like a horse's name. It meant pretty in an ancient language. The voice was calmer than the water and deeper. Whose life was this? Dust in her fingers, sand. The water coming, neither friendly nor unfriendly, but water, unmistakable, and no getting out of the way. Whose life? On whose back? What horse? What water? It swelled and roared and cried and sang. It reared and pitched into the air. The burning room. You are leaving the burning room of your life to go next door where it's cool. Come back. We are not done. Last night, he said, after I said, he said, if that's the case, I can't stay. Neither of us moved. The candles on the table stayed lit. Though they flared a bit when I began, they did not go out. They rang for the whole conversation. In the fireplace, too, the fire stayed on. I waited for something to happen. There was no symbolism in the room, only us. exodus. These are the plagues of our own making, the plague of indecisiveness that keeps us hopping, plague of doubt, that pecking bird, the plague of unspoken fear, gurgling presence, all the original divine plagues, including bugs and darkness, the unseen chemical ones, the impossibility of preparing well enough, not trusting we'll get what we need. Let us remove the pillows from the boxes. Let us take 2 breaths in the midst of the exodus, one for this house, one for the next. Russia. I dreamt my name was Russia Bloom, and I was told, as a mission, to go back there, to Russia, posing as a blind woman with a seeing eye dog and not speaking the language. I couldn't fathom how I could get around, no sight, no words, in a country that kept changing its shape, its name. March. The candle's been blown out. I'm walking in the everything unplugged house, stunned silent. Tonight, I will go out and look at the stars, just to make sure they're still there. A neighbor tells me the spring equinox is Sunday. I'm warming for longer days. Birth is so close to death, it makes me cry to see the pink twin sets spring up in Gap store windows. The soon-to-be visible skin of young girls. Their toes are bashful and long, and I'm sad. The season of buds is also the season of taxes. I need a drink of water. Permiso. There's a tree in my heart, and I don't know its name. It stands straight behind my breasts, like a closed tulip. Permiso, it says. Allow me. Sweet and with a shell. I'd like to teach today by handing over responsibility to the students. Write. Give them Smarties. Say, write about these. Poems are getting shorter. That's it. Want. The gray cat came and lay down on my chest like a 15-pound bag of warm sugar. Soft, heavy on my heart, like the hands of a master. Rana Bloom Street. I live on Rana Bloom Street. It's the only street I know. A place in my body where I can rest when I remember I live here. It doesn't cost $1,200 a month, and there's no good time to sell. I could stay put on Rana Bloom Street, no matter where I am. Neil Young's songs are really about cars. My car is gone, its body taped. Quietest relationship in 20 years. My small black mirror. went everywhere, held everything. A whole marriage passed through. Angry driving and honeymoon driving, scenic routes, incendiary crashes, post-breakup mind lapses, harangues by trucker women, cops' caresses, insurance vigilantes, bicycles, vet visits, before, during, and after. Empty passenger seat, empty back seat, broken window, a flicker of children, and new humor. 4 million ice cream cones, Greg's, Ed's, Baskin and Jerry's. No longer where I was, but not yet where I want to be, grinding between the gears. When I took my foot off the brake, things went fast, the last hill of a half year, until Frank, doctor of cars, the suspension would fall from the body, could not take me to the highway. I took it for one last wash, bereft. I left it for the kids to learn on. Years ago, the hunky man in a rust-proofing shop, chimneying through smokes, urged the ultimate importance of structural integrity. To the children now, for learning, for cutting out almost transparent doily bits, tea-stained metal, weld and paint, make new, make over. All those Neil Young songs are really about love and cars. Rust never sleeps. It's time to go. I'm giving my body to science. 83%. My old love comes to my door, and my heart doesn't pound, though I am happy. 83% happy, like the Mona Lisa. I usually have a plan and then I change my mind. We woke to find the car's fourth wheel stolen in the night, called the cops, rebuked each other, waited for a tow. It got fixed. What we never asked. Why? What mischief was wanting us a three-wheeled car? To peel ourselves off the ramp of ordinary. We steadfastly did not laugh. We refused to be lopsided. A gap we quickly filled. A three-legged dog limped into a bar, said, "I'm looking for the guy who shot my paw." The leash. 1. I remove my watch. Sneak peeks at the wrists of others. 2. Ride out to the city limits. Plan where I'll get tired. 3. Oh, wild one, drinking coffee at 10 p.m. You feel leashless, but even the word leashless has a leash in it. 4. How far might you go if you finally stop stopping? 5. In the sun. 1. Chopping ice on the ground between the houses. The ground was so thick, so uneven and lumpy. My ankle, sore in its socket on the mounds, a little melting in the sun. I was chopping with that sharp, straight-edged tool, then shushing it forward, chopping and shushing. There was so much ice and so little breaking in spite of the sun, and no salt left in any store. The line was, I am broken down to the bottom, water pooling at my feet. Broken down wishing someone would come with salt, clear the path, make it safe again. 2. I stood in the front hall for an open minute. Bewilderment, but without the worry. Blind, pauseless. No one was there, not even me. Was there someone to thank for this? I didn't know. I only thought, you don't have to go anywhere to get it. 3. Chanced to see a stranger in the hospital momentarily uncurtained. A 40-year-old skull with brown skin, her mouth open, breath loud, eyes rolled back, and the man beside her bed facing the television. As though the two of them were sitting on a beach, her looking up at the birds to the left, silently dying, him looking down to the sea, silently living. We cannot do more. Van Gogh's wheat field. Stood before it. All that gold, all that yellow gold, all that sun. Sat on a bench a few feet away, a cluster of men and women in dark coats between us. I could feel the yellow of the painting coming through, penetrating the darkness of their coats and bodies. 3 people deep in front of me did not block out the heat of that sun. Love came through like an X-ray. Though I could see the black of the wool, the stout of their bodies. They did not block the ray of that yellow, the wordless pitch of yellow, as though my heart was staring at the sun and nothing could make it close its eye. I'm now deciding. How are you? How are you for time? A few more?
You're doing well.
Yeah? Are you my angel? I walked up the other side of the street, not my usual side. Decided to go slow. Slow as I could remember. I looked at the person coming at me. A white man, also slow. I thought he would recognize me by our mutual pace, but he did not look me in the eye. Then a black woman I know from the restaurant, a server there, she was slow too. A kind of shuffle in her walk. I wasn't sure she was okay, for she jerked forward every 2 steps. She slowed more and said, "Hi." I said, "Hi." She slowed, hesitating as though she might speed up suddenly but wanted something. She said, "I'm terribly shy." It was a long time, and she said, "Can we stand over here and talk for a minute?" "Sure," I said, and we moved to the side. "I never know what to say," she said, and then, "I like your shirt. It's a nice blue shirt." "Thank you. I like blue, like my ring." I looked down at my hand, and it wasn't the blue ring. She said, "I never know what to say. Some people can really talk. It's a gift." I said, You're doing fine. She said, I have an assignment. I pushed in. To talk to someone? Yes, to talk to someone I think is my angel. The street winnowed to us. And you stopped me? She said, I thought you were my angel today. Thank you. Thank you for stopping me. She said, it's, what do they call it? Courage. Yes. And she began to look away down the street like she was already leaving, drifting. She said, you have a beautiful aura. She made that shape people make with both hands indicating roundness, light. And she went, continued the slow shuffle of the walk. She had smiled, more smiling than I'd seen when she'd served me in the restaurant. I'd only ever seen that shuffle, that slowness, when a friend and I were her customers, when she forgot our orders or inched them to us, letting us wait. My friend had said, oatmeal for brains. And I repeated that often. It was funny and made me seem smart and above. Now I walked away from this woman and said softly, I'm sorry. I repeated, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. She had an agony sitting on her, and I had not seen it. She claimed to see my aura, and I had not seen it. So much that's invisible isn't. She didn't see the harsh that had come from me, the nastiness, but I saw it. I wondered if we traded auras for agonies as we passed, or shared them, like two clouds moving through each other, commingling.
Can you tell us, is that a crazy woman you met on the street?
Which one is the crazy woman on the street?
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's actually what happened, right? That's exactly right. Shall I change now that you said that? I can't decide.
Do both.
Well, there's 2 or 3, and I'm trying to decide if I'm going like for big energy or, can't figure out which. Okay, I keep looking at this poem. I'm going to read it. Rumble. She went further. I don't want to read it. I got it. Sometimes you just have to start and then no, I don't want to do that. There you go. This phrase, letting go, turns up in the tarot deck image of maidens flinging themselves from a cliff. And every time a gong goes off in my head and my eyes get glassy or watery, as yesterday when I walked into the park after the long bike ride west, through the congested city, through the early, peaceful, stinky garbage day streets, past the apartments, condos, houses I almost lived in, the women wearing patent leather underwear, chic in one neighborhood, treacherous in the next. After drinking half a coffee and carrying the rest, I walked into the park, through the gates I'd never entered, like a guest in another city. Felt the strain in my eyes and took off my glasses. Everything went soft, including my soul. How clearly I saw the leaves, the colors blurry, almost black in their green. I'm going to read the last poem in the book. It's my last poem, and it's called Esposa. When we were dying, before we were dying, I heard this music. A woman singing in a language I couldn't understand. You knew what she was saying. It made you operatic, ascending and descending all the stairs. It was not about lovers, you insisted, though even you recognized the words betrothed or beloved. It wasn't the word, it was this sound. I'm so sorry to be harping on this, the sound like angels with knives for the necessary tearing, like birds with razors in their beaks who slashed as they sang. I could not see the veins in her neck, though the violin kept me company when she was silent. I wished she would stop. She was giving me something I needed. I was crazy to go in for that sort of medicine. It seemed to make things worse. I went, with my head down, into the garden, sobbing with her. She accompanied me. She did not save me, never, though I never abandoned her. Being saved was not the answer. Being alone with those killing angels was. Thank you.